Hey, good morning. So, May 13th, Thursday. Again, thanks so much for being here. It's a really joy to be able to talk with you. The thought for this morning, as we go throughout the day, is focusing on the fact that we're known by God and how comforting that is. In Psalm 139, David talks about the intimate relationship that he has with God. But what's interesting here, and what I want us to hang on to, is that this intimacy is primarily coming from God and not from David. In the psalm, David is recognizing how intimately connected God is with his life. That's the reality. That's what David's talking about. God knows everything about him. He knows his thoughts before he even has them. Whether David asked God's permission or not to know his thoughts, God knows his thoughts. God knows everywhere that David goes. He knows when he's afraid. He knows when he's proud and boastful and arrogant and having wrong thoughts, sinful thoughts. God knows all of that. And given this intimate knowledge that God has with David, we might call it an invasion of privacy. But in many ways, it's the most blessed invasion of privacy and the most blessed gift God could ever give to us. Because he won't let our barriers of our sin and our pride and our arrogance, our fears, stand between us and being known by God. I may not always sense it as much as times as others, but that's on my end. God's faithfulness never changes, day after day. So David sums up all this intimate knowledge of God with him, and rather than running from it in fear, he says, "How precious to me are your thoughts, O God." And then he ends the psalm this way, and this is where I want to leave us today. "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." See, this God who knows David more intimately than he knows himself, David's response is the practical response to your thoughts are precious to me. He's crying out to God, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Know that deepest part of me. Know the part that I'm afraid to know about myself." He's saying, bring it on. Know me. Then test me. Know my anxious thoughts. What are the things that trouble me? Where are my worries? Help me to know that these things are cared for and bound up in your love for me. And then more openness. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. In Psalm 62, David says, "Only in God is found safety." Well, we see that vividly laid out for us this morning in these small portions of Psalm 139. David's asking God to search him, to know him, to challenge him, test him, and to probe deeply into his heart. So if there's anything blocking, anything muddying the waters, anything keeping David from drawing closer to God, he's saying, get those things away from me. Understand my anxious thoughts. Help me see if there's anything in there where it needs to go so that I can walk in the paths of truth. I can walk in the everlasting way of God. Search me, know me, challenge me, probe me, know my heart. Let me lay bare my anxieties before you, so you could lead me in your good, perfect, and gracious ways. And that's the thought for this day. Rejoice in the fact that you are known intimately, fully by your God. And if we can grasp what David is saying, we don't have to fear. We can rejoice and say with David, how precious to me are your thoughts, O God. And that's the thought for this day. And, you have a great day, and Lord willing, we'll be back tonight. Bye-bye.